Okay, so this says find the area of the blue region, and I do see the blue region in the picture. It's figure 135 on page 744. All right, now those numbers could change, by the way. So right now, this is what my number's at. It says a square with side of length 1 meter. I do see that in the picture, by the way. They say it's a square. So I'm going to assume that's a square. And they go on to say that this circle thing is, let's just read that, passing through one corner. I do see that. Now, what does it mean? They share a point, right? And then it goes on to say the sides opposite to that are tangent, right? So over here is a point of tangency, over there is a point of tangency. So the problem about this one over here is actually figuring out the blue area. That's the problem. But I'm going to assume the picture is kind of understood. What may not be understood is how to get these areas here. And there's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 areas to compute, by the way. It'd be nice if we can do it in one shot, though. All right. Now, some things are not known to me. And one thing that's not known to me is the radius. That's not known to me. If I knew that, I could probably figure it out a little bit better. But right now, what I want to just go to better picture. And I will provide this better picture to you in the notes when I print them out, by the way. So let's go to the better picture. And I did a picture over here. And I want to point out, it's really the same picture. And I'm just going to talk through it, right? So I know over here is that this thing over here, the square, this corner, this is 90 degrees. And if I saw this thing over here, this is the arc. I'm going to erase this later, by the way. And what that means over here, that this is 90, this would have to be 180 degrees, all right? And that's something you know about circles, by the way, all right? That I'm getting, if this is 90 degrees, point this out over here. This one over here, moving through the center of it, would have to be 180, twice the 90, by the way. So let me get my eraser out, and I'm pretty convinced of that, by the way. And again, we drew a good picture, and I'm hoping those pictures are something you could look at, all right? So I know that that's a diameter now. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start to write down things I know. This is the center. I drew a line through that, by the way. This is going to be the length R. This is going to be length R over here, all right? So what I'm going to do now is just talk about, how to figure something out over here. So what do you want to figure out? I want to figure out the area they're talking about. And I realize that you have to go back to the diagram. I don't know. But I'm going to say it's the area what they're talking about. And if you want to go back to that picture, by the way, maybe I should. Let me get my eraser out and talk about the area that they're talking about. Let me get my eraser out. You know what? I'm wondering what's going on there with my eraser. Oh, it's erasing the picture. Let me go backwards. I don't want to do that. I'll leave those yellow things in there. Sorry about that. So the area that they're interested in is going to be the area of the square plus the area of the circle, which can be pi r squared. I don't know what the r is yet. Minus, and I overcounted something. That's why I need to take it away. And what I overcount, that contained region over here. And let me just get my pen out again. And I'll go to green ink. It's this thing over here. And I don't know what it is. I'm going to say that area, A-R-E-A. All right? And again, I'm pointing out what that area is this thing over here, right? That whole thing contained in there, all right? So I got to go back and see if I can figure that out. So let's go back. Whoops, not that. Let's go back to our picture. And I want to, talk about how to get that area. And the first thing I noticed over here is that I'm looking at this thing over here. All right, let me go back to my picture. And I'm going to start to erase things here. I can't do that, can I? I'll put this over here. I'm doing this section over here. And that's just half the circle. I'll do the other one later, by the way. All right? And let's see if I can do that. Half the circle. That doesn't look too bad, right? What's half the circle? Well, it's going to be 1/2 pi r squared. And then I got that other region to deal with. And so what's the other region? The other region is this thing over here. And that's a triangle. And what about that triangle over here? It's a right angle here, and these are going to be 45 45s. All right, they're 45, 45s. So how do I do that? I'm going to point out the radius, not the radius, the hypotenuse is 2r. And I'm just going to call x and x. We'll come back to it later, by the way. So it's x squared plus x squared equals 4r squared. I just want to figure out what x is, and then we'll put it down. And then what do you get there? You get 2x squared equals 4r squared. I'm going to divide through by 2. You get x squared equals 2r squared. So x would equal root 2 times r. All right? So I know that this side here of that triangle is root 2r. And this is also root 2r. So I have to add that on now. And what's the area of the triangle going to be? 1/2 the base, root 2 times r, times root 2 times r. Let's just simplify that. It's 1/2 pi r squared plus, well, if I do this over here, root 2 times root 2 is 2, and the 2's cancel. I just get plus r squared. All right? So I need this. All right? This is the area, that contained region over here. So let me put out what I mean by that. Get my eraser out again. For some reason, my eraser doesn't seem to be working all that well in this. Oh, there it goes. Over here. And I'm going to be writing something down now again. And I'm going to write down that area that we got over here. So the area that we're interested in, the area, my pen doesn't seem to be working right. The area, what's going on there? Let's go to the whiteboard to do this over here. Try this over here. Well, what's going on? Let me go back to the picture. The pen again. The eraser seems to be on for some reason. All right. Let me try again. Oh, there it goes. So remember, the area is going to be 1 plus, that's the area of the square, by the way, pi r squared minus 2. And we just did this business over here. And again, I want to point out what we did. We did half of the circle. That's 1/2 pi r squared plus, that other thing was going to be r squared, by the way. All right, let me just make sure I thought through that right. And I think I did that right. Yeah, that doesn't look so bad. And I'm going to simplify it, but I still don't know what r is, and that's my problem. I got to figure that out. So this is not the tough part at this point. So I get 1 plus pi r squared minus, I'm going to distribute this across now. That's going to be pi r squared. And then I'm going to get minus 2r squared. All right, what's nice about this, though? This disappeared. All right? So I'm left off with the area. It's getting simpler and simpler each time, but I still don't know what r is. And what's it going to be equal to? 1 minus 2r squared. I'm going to get my eraser out again. Erase this business over here. Kind of just walking through the problem. I want to keep this diagram fresh. All right, now I got to start figuring out what that r is. All right, I'm going to go back and label. And I want to point out, this is r, this is r, this is r, that's r. All right, I'm still looking at the diagram. This is r, this is r. I'm looking at that picture, right? And now I'm going to say over here, looking at this thing over here, Again, that's at a right angle. So let's say 45, 45, okay? And again, these are right. 45, 45. Boy, it's like deja vu all over again, isn't it? So I'm going to say this is R, and therefore I'm going to get these guys over here. It's a 45, 45, 90 right triangle, by the way. All right? And let's just see if we can do that. And if I can do that, I think I could figure out what the R is. And over here, what I'm going to get? I'm going to get R over root 2. That's what this dimension is right here. And by the way, this is also R over root 2. So this length over here, that's the side of the square, is going to be R over root 2. And this length over here is just R. So what do I know now? I know that R plus R over root 2 is equal to the length of the side of that square, which was 1. All right? Now what I got to do now, I got to figure this thing out. And I'm going to multiply both sides by root 2. I get root 2R. Oh, I'm sorry, I made a mistake there. And I know I keep this, for some reason my pen is not working. I'm not sure what's wrong with it. You know what? I'm going to skip erasing it. It's going to be root 2R plus R. I'm multiplying by root 2. Root 2. I'm going to factor an R out. That's going to be root 2 plus 1 equals root 2. And now I know R is going to be root 2 over root 2 plus 1. Now, by the way, you could write the area down now. The area is going to be A equals 1 minus 2, that number squared. Let me write that down. So it's going to be root 2 plus 1, the whole thing squared. All right, now that's the answer, by the way, but I need to simplify it. Let's see if I get that erasure to work again. Let me just close this out again. Yeah, there the erasure goes. All right. I'm going to erase this business too. I'm trying to make the picture nice and neat. We'll get to the bottom, don't worry. Now, before I square that thing, which looks pretty complicated to square, I'm going to simplify it. All right, so it's going to be root 2 plus 1. I can multiply top by the bottom's conjugate. That's root 2 minus 1, root 2 minus 1. Now, if you multiply the top, what do you get? You're going to get 2 minus root 2. And on bottom, you would get 2 minus 1. So that's going to be 2 minus root 2. Let me write that down. So A will equal 1 minus 2. And they just simplified this thing. And this is going to be 2 minus root 2 squared now. Well, I'm going to go through some work. You get 1 minus 2. If you square that, you get 4. And then you get minus 4 root 2. And then you get plus 2. A is going to be 1 minus 2. 4 plus 2 is 6. Minus 4 root 2. A equals, we're almost there. I'm going to say, minus 2 times minus 4 is 8. So 8 root 2's. Then you get minus 12 plus 1. So A equals 8 root 2 minus 11. Final answer. And we're done. Thank you.